I think this man surely deserves a louder applause. Ladies and gentlemen, may we all rise for standing ovation, please. Sir, may I please request you to come up on stage? There we have the very prestigious Shiromoni trophy and flowers from Flowers for You. And of course, there are gift hampers from ITC, Hindustan Sweets, Neotia, Shri Balaji Panchashala. Now it's time for the commemorative BCC&I memento. Thank you so much, presenters.
Good evening, everyone. Let me tell you, this is a complete fanboy moment for me. And what an honor to share the podium with this gentleman who needs no introduction. So thank you so much for accepting this award on behalf of Bengal Chamber. May I start with a small anecdote before I come to you, sir? More than 30 years back, there was a family outing where we were going to Diamond Harbour. And few kilometers before Diamond Harbour, we detoured into a place which led us to a nice riverside, and we enjoyed that place and we stayed there for some moment. When we were returning back, the locals told us, please come back after a few years and you'll see a transformation. We did that 2 years later, and what a transformation that was. The Rai Chalk that we all know today, sir. Thank you so much. Thereafter, year after year, we have seen you deliver signature products, which has made all of us proud, Kolkata proud, Bengal proud, sir. That made me wonder, sir, when I look into your line of business, you have been into realty, which drives the country's economy and GDP. You have been into hospitality, which is the world's largest employment generator and livelihood generator. You are into healthcare and education, which is the backbone of any nation, sir. So my question is, what really motivated you to get into these business verticals, and how did you build all these empires on your own?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I answer Kalyanda, let me first say that the fanboy moment is here. We have Bumbada sitting right in front, and he is the big thespian of our city. So that's really where the fanboy moment, at least for me, is. He's been a friend, but more importantly, he's really charmed all of us for so many years. I also want to say that when you first phoned me and asked me if I was okay to accept this award, and I heard the word lifetime, I said, normally, and this is on a lighter note, normally when you hear the word lifetime, you say, yaar, life khatam ho gaya, tab isliye lifetime award. So I thought ki kya abhi le le, ye wala award means story is over. But anyway, I got persuaded by him to accept it. I hope you are okay that I can work for a few more years.
Sir, this is just the beginning.
Because my son, when he comes to know about it in the evening, he will probably tell me, Dad, it's your lifetime award, now move. Anyway, well, to answer the question, I will say that none of the businesses I have got into really was with any great vision started. When I went out and In fact, I was still in college. Our family was setting up a cement plant in Gujarat. And that was the biggest investment of the family at that time. So my father wanted me to be part of that. So I traveled with him to Gujarat to see the project site. At that time, it was just the ground started. And it was, I think, the month of May or June. It was 45 degrees. It was very hot. We flew in from here to Bombay, Bombay to Rajkot, Rajkot. We drove about 4-5 hours. This is 1985, and there were hardly roads that we see today. So when I finally landed up, I was exhausted, and I saw these people poring over some drawings, and I said, my God, imagine my life staying here, building this plant. And my dad thought that it's an obvious thing to do because I was the only son in the family. My father were 3 brothers, and I was the only boy in the family in my generation. So, इसमें सोचने का क्या बात है? You have to do this. But I said, no, this is not happening. So I came and told my mother. I said, Mom, I can't go and stay in this horrible 45 degrees temperature. I was a bit of a spoiled child, as you can understand, because with 3 sets of parents having 1 son, I took advantage of that situation, frankly. So I had nothing to do. And, I was able to persuade my uncle, actually, not to send me to Gujarat. My father was very upset. He didn't talk to me for a few weeks, but he loved me deeply, and so did I. So finally, it was okay, but for a short while, he was very upset that I had turned down this proposal. So while I was doing nothing in Calcutta and just sort of literally hanging around the family office, and we had no business in Calcutta, a friend of the family came and said, I want to sell this 6 katha jomi. And somebody told me, এখানে একটা বাড়ি করে নাও, তবে ফ্ল্যাটগুলো বিক্রি হয়ে যাবে, কিছু you'll be able to make some money. So I was sitting there while this gentleman was telling my father, and Papa told me, he said, अरे तुम कुछ नहीं कर रहा, इसका मकान बना दो. So I said, हाँ. I grabbed the opportunity, not because I had any vision of becoming a real estate developer or anything, but just because I was doing nothing. I was feeling terribly guilty that I said no to my father, and I wanted to, in some way, redeem it by saying to my dad that I'm not a useless son. So I said, चलो जो भी मिलता है, जैसे बोलते हैं ना, जब डूबते हैं तो फिर एक तिनका का भी सहारा बहुत होता है. So that's exactly was my situation, and that's how I got involved in construction. But because I grew up in a family that was deeply interested in the arts, they were patron of the arts, they were connoisseurs of art, I had the exposure to artists, to musicians, to poets, to literateurs, to philosophers coming to our home. So in a sense, I was born and brought up in that situation. So there was an atmosphere of culture and art in the family. So when I started doing real estate, it automatically came in. I didn't do it consciously. But because I grew up with that, when I was talking to the architects, I tried to bring my artistic upbringing into that thing, and that kind of helped the project, so they became a little bit more popular, perhaps. And then, of course, the most important thing was Lady Luck shined, God was kind, the lovely people of Kolkata blessed me, and therefore certain things happened. So that's the beginning, and that's my story.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you. So motivating. So I know you have to leave early, but I'm prompted and I'm tempted to ask this question. In the very beginning, Tanmay talked about entrepreneurs and the difficult journey they all undergo. We have a legendary actor in the room. We have a successful unicorn startup in the room. We have so many budding entrepreneurs in the room, sir. I would love to know if you can share one of your experience where things went tough, going was difficult, you felt you were on the edge of the cliff, you felt all doors were closed. How did you react to that situation and how did you bounce back? One incident if you could narrate.
Well, the most recent and also the most difficult occasion happened during COVID. As luck would have it, all our businesses were shut on the 24th of March 2020. Our hotels were shut, our malls were shut, our university was shut, the offices were shut, construction sites were shut. The only thing that was open was the hospital, and that too was not working because we are not in tertiary care, we are in mother and child care. So everyone except for childbirth, which you can't stop, every other problem was postponed because the doctors refused to come and we had a challenge getting the nurses to work. So literally I said, oh my God, how can it be a coincidence that every business that I'm involved in is completely shut? And obviously we had debts. And we just, for a few months, I felt like I don't know what will happen. It was really, really very, very difficult. The only good thing was that I was stuck at home and nothing to do. So I spent a lot of time, I do a little meditation every day. So I spent a little more time doing meditation. I spent more time reading some books. I read a lot because I love to read. So I started reading more on spirituality. And at least I could come to terms with myself, not with the problem, because problem was very big. But at least I would say less disturbed because I was trying to be a little bit connected to the higher energy. Then of course, with God's grace, the COVID came down, the banks were giving some relief through the government mandated scheme of postponing the repayment. Gradually things started opening, and of course tourism bounced back. Real estate also got a good traction after this. So gradually things improved, but for 3 months I didn't know how I just felt I was in a black tunnel with no shaft of light. So that is the latest situation.
Fantastic. Sir, I wish I could go on and on and on, but I know time is of constraint. I have one last question, which is actually an advice that I seek from you. It's for all the entrepreneurs in the room. We are in an extremely volatile world today. Things are disruptive, uncertain. You see disruption around us. You see unrest around us. What is one word of advice to all the budding entrepreneurs in the world and in the room to come out to tackle this current situation and come out victorious? One advice.
Frankly speaking, nobody can give you an advice of the VUCA world that we are in. The only thing I can tell everyone is that have self-belief. I think the awardee who just came before me and who's a unicorn, congratulations to you for this amazing success. I really envy them because at least I had the support of my family. I had some resources to bank on to do my business, but people like him who have really established something from being a self-made person is quite incredible. So congratulations. You probably deserve, and you will get a lifetime achievement soon. But since you're younger than me, maybe you have to wait for a few years. So I would say that, listen, you have to just believe in yourself. And one thing I would like to tell all young entrepreneurs, effort is necessary. Integrity is essential. But success will happen or not happen partly depends on luck. Partly depends on something which is an X factor. You may call it luck, you may call it past life karma, you may call it anything. Everyone who works hard and works honestly doesn't necessarily get the same level of success. Have the humility to know this, because otherwise you can get very demotivated. দেখো আমি এইসব করলাম ওইসব করলাম সবটা তো করলাম কিন্তু ও করে গেল আমি পারলাম না. This is a common refrain that happens. I feel that we need to be centered. We need to be deeply conscious that God has some ways which we fully don't understand. And probably one of the reasons we remain humble is because we don't understand it. If সব জিনিসটা আমরা করতে পারতাম আর সব জিনিস আমাদের ইচ্ছে মতন হতো, then as they said, every beggar would ride a horse. So that is not true. Life is not, in that sense, predictable, but it is also one of the reasons that makes life so interesting. So this is my advice to everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, I will request Mr. Neotia to, he has to leave. So thank you so much, sir.